Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, gave up on his bail hearing after the prosecution revealed evidence of witness tampering. A leaked call between Diddy and his son Christian Combs has severely damaged his chances of bail. What did Diddy say, and how impactful is the new evidence?
Prosecutors say not only is Sean Combs not entitled to bail, but essentially he shouldn't even get a hearing on this. And remember, Combs is currently in detention at the Metropolitan Detention Center out in Brooklyn, New York, after being denied bail by other judges. The main issues keeping him locked away are that the courts have held that the prosecutors have shown that he is a danger on the outside, he's a potential flight risk. Most notably was evidence put forward that he had been improperly contacting victims and witnesses in this case. And as we discussed on previous sidebars, Sean Combs' counsel has denied all this. They have indicated that all of those conversations were not done with the intent to engage in witness tampering or obstruction, and even, at least they say, one witness had contacted Combs, not the other way around. Well, the government has come out with new evidence of its own to justify pretrial detention. And let me just read you this from the beginning of their brief. They say, while attempting to evade law enforcement monitoring, the defendant has, among other things, orchestrated social media campaigns that are, in his own words, aimed at tainting the jury pool, made efforts to publicly leak materials he views as helpful to his case, and contacted witnesses through third parties? What?
Diddy's legal team is scrambling after his bail was denied for the third time, now with an added charge of witness tampering. Call records from the Metropolitan Detention Center revealed that Diddy not only attempted to contact witnesses directly, but also enlisted people on the outside to assist him. The judge determined that Diddy posed a threat to both the public and the witnesses.
Right at the end of the day on Wednesday, it reads, the court has evaluated each of the factors that it must consider under the relevant law. 1, nature and circumstances of the offense charged. 2, weight of the evidence against the person. 3, history and characteristics of the person. And 4, nature and seriousness of the danger that would be posed by the person's release. And it also says that the court has also reviewed the information submitted by Combs and the government across all 3 bail hearings in this case. As you remember, Sean Combs was denied bail both by a magistrate judge and a district court judge. Judge Subramanian writes, the court finds that the government has shown by clear and convincing evidence, so that's the standard, that no condition or combination of conditions will reasonably assure the safety of the community. In support of this finding, the court provides the following.
Diddy is desperate to secure bail, knowing that once the witnesses testify, he may never be free again. A leaked document revealed he offered $50 million for bail. Although he submitted his and his family's passports to the court, the judge denied his release, suspecting he may have a secret second passport.
Team has said we're going to put together the proposed bail package. A $50 million bond, co-signed by him, his mom, his sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. It's going to be secured by the equity in his property in Miami, Florida. Home detention, his passport will be surrendered. The government said that's insufficient. They said, look at the charges, look at the weight of the evidence that I just mentioned. They said they have allegations that he and his associates were trying to tamper with witness testimony last year so that they wouldn't cooperate with the government. What do you take away about who has the stronger argument in terms of bail?
Well, I think his counsel has done the best they possibly can. I think bringing him there voluntarily is very smart, starts them out on the right foot. But I think the last thing that you just mentioned, the interfering with witnesses.
That's the allegation, yeah.
Yeah, if that's true, or I should say, if there's real indicia that happened, I think that might tip the scales in favor of not letting him out pending trial, because I think, and you know this, I think judges take an extraordinarily dim view of that, and that might be the factor that tips the scale again.
The decision to deny Diddy's bail and keep him in federal custody until his trial in May 25 followed the revelation of his phone call, where he was reportedly instructing his son.
Made a bail appeal to Judge Carter. It did not go our way longer.
The prosecution alleges that in a leaked call, Diddy told his son to take care of witnesses, referring to them as pizza boxes. He also hinted at tapes he had recorded, calling them plastic.
Do not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes. Okay. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about. Yeah. Did Jay reach out yet?
Nah, Bob. He ghosting.
this motherfucker doing? These things tweeting out because I'm in here.
This is all good. You about to get out on bail.
No, hey yo, check this out. Need you to reach out to the producer, let these motherfuckers know there's a release date for that new Netflix movie.
Alright, Pop. It's crazy right now.
Everybody out there quiet as a motherfucker,
Yeah?
Yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their little fun, but I'm still gonna have the last laugh.
What about all these lawsuits, though, Pop?
Ain't none of them getting shit. I ain't worth nothing. Ain't got shit in my name anyway. Don't even worry about it. Bunch of money.
Diddy's desperation is evident as he continues calling witnesses despite knowing his phone is tapped. Reports suggest that several tapes and an alleged document written by his late ex-wife Kim Porter detailing accusations against him have been handed over to the FBI.
And those statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that, and he answered what he could, given the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know if
Appeared
they
to be.
were right.
Sure.
Appeared to
Let me
be,
rephrase
right,
it.
based on yes.
Understand. Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appear to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
I think all, to be honest, all.
Were victims
They
or
victims.
were perpetrating?
Victims.
They were all 8 were victimized,
Yeah,
meaning
victim.
this was happening to them and they were inebriated.
Right. Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was in it, what they was doing.
Diddy is reportedly scrambling to hide tapes, calling those who might have them to silence them. Allegedly, he used other inmates' phone privileges to avoid detection, unaware all prison calls are legally wiretapped and not protected by the Fourth Amendment.
The thing with Diddy is, why is he trying to get in contact with witnesses? He gotta know they recorded the calls, right?
My man, in order to you to think that you could get away with doing any kind of witness tampering in prison, you gotta probably be one of the smartest, dumbest persons because they take everything, bruh. Don't you know when he was using those other people's cards and their phone cards and everything like that, and they hear it, that person was like that. Hold up. That's supposed to be inmate 076. And Puff inmate number is 0666. Why is 0666 coming over on 0607? Why is Puff stuff coming over on his card? Hold up. Did he just say, take that, take that? Do I hear, bad boy, come out and play? They know his voice. And now for him to be giving people instructions to do things, like I say, he got to be one of the smartest dumb MFs we know. So if they got him on there telling people to get in touch with people or tell people to stop, the guards are being closely monitored. Because it was said that he was on a cell phone. And I don't think you could have a cell phone in the Brooklyn House of Detention, the Brooklyn or the Manhattan House of Detention. I don't think you could have a cell phone. And I heard that he had a cell phone. He made some calls to some people. So they're gonna watch the guards closely because if you remember with the Epstein case, and check this out, those 2 guards that were supposed to be brought up on charges because they falsified records, you ain't heard nothing else about them.
Even without tapped calls, Diddy's downfall seemed inevitable. The FBI now has tapes he once used to silence victims, freeing witnesses to speak out. Reports claim Diddy's associates tried to buy silence, with one minor allegedly offered $100 million for a key tape.
And you right about Diddy's phone being tapped, because news came out that his former bandmate from Dirty Money, she called the other group member Dunn 58 times trying to get her to stop the lawsuit against Diddy.
She ain't the only one he was trying to get in contact with. You understand? He sent somebody through somebody else to try to get in contact with me, telling me enough is enough. Oh, okay. You tell Big Mama that enough is enough. You can't tell Wolf Mama enough is enough. You tell D Ferg Mama enough is enough. You understand? You tell all those people who supported you and they survivors enough is enough.
You didn't tell me about that. So he tried to get somebody to reach out to you?
No, I got a phone call from Kirk Burroughs. And Kirk Burroughs, and I ain't gonna give this guy no play. Not Kirk Burroughs, but one of the Puff dudes that I know that's real close to him said, Kirk told me, yo, he want to reach out to you, Gene. He want to speak to you. I said, speak to me for what? What do you want to speak to me for? If he's trying to speak to me, it's for Puff. Point blank. I know the dude. I know how close he is to Puff. He's been with Puff from day one. So he ain't got nothing to say to me, bro. But Kirk Burroughs did say to me that the dude said enough.
Despite the judge's bail ruling, Diddy's attorney plans to push again, but this strategy might backfire. Critics argue he should focus on his trial instead. With allegations of threats, witness tampering, and violent crimes, bail seems unlikely.
Might get bail. Now you're wondering why I'm saying that. See, they are trying to use some of the things that happen to criminals all the time, or inmates all the time. They always, brother, they always do those impromptu searches. And in one of the cases, in this particular case, they said that when they did the impromptu search, well, they took some of his legal information, and the judge ordered them to give that back. So I guess the lawyers are going to come up with a couple of new things saying that he can't properly, have his case be properly, what do you call it when they client get they client and lawyer privileges. He can't properly do his case with, you understand, with them constantly going into jail cells, searching him, taking his legal briefs, taking his information, and then probably using it against him. But I don't believe none of that to be true. I believe that they went in there just like they do all the other inmates based on the information they had. You got to realize this, bro. They found out that Diddy was using other inmates' phone cards. Now that probably happens all the time. You understand? And he got to be probably the smartest, dumbest person that I know, because he got to know that those phone calls are being taped. So whatever his lawyers and them come up with, the prosecution's gonna come up with something else. So the judge is gonna wanna know, well, what did they do, when they found out he was in violation of some of this stuff that he was doing? Did they charge him with something new? Did they take some of his privileges away? What has happened in the interim of him doing this stuff that they alleged that he done? So it's gonna be a whole forestry of next week, because what they did was they held off whatever the procedures was gonna go down today. The judge said he gonna revisit this next week. So I guess, I don't know if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll find out what's going on, but it's gonna be something that I think it may shock the world.
With more than 30 civil and criminal lawsuits filed against him in federal and state courts nationwide, pressure is mounting on Diddy and his alleged co-conspirators as allegations continue to surface.
Name people in these lawsuits. We're not going to do it in interviews. We're not going to do it, without doing our due diligence, because obviously, these types of allegations are very hurtful to people if they're not true, and very hurtful, frankly, if they are true. But if they're true, you shouldn't have been in the room and you shouldn't have been participating. So I anticipate that we're going to start filing lawsuits, and it may not be big names at first, but we have a long list of names. And you might imagine in situations like this, that when a victim tells us that this person
we're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs. That's when they're gonna start talking. And they're not gonna be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them out the cookie jar, it could be your favorite pastor. It could be over there is shaking in their boots because this man then led them allegedly led them to damnation, because those people's hearts are gonna be broken if that man is seen on those tapes doing anything. Because people always put their faith in the pastor instead of putting their faith in God. And what they need to do is understand that he's just a man. And he has a history. It's not looking too good for him.
So you feel like celebs are worried that they might be on tape?
Oh, they know. That's why they ain't speaking up or saying nothing. Yeah, I was at a Diddy party, but I know I ain't do nothing. When you don't know somebody's taping you, when you don't know that somebody is videoing you in some kind of form or fashion, you got that alcohol, you got the drugs in you, they're a little loose, bruh. They let down all their inhibitions. The music is pumping. He said it himself. He got it so hot in there that you gotta take your clothes off.
New allegations from musician Tanya Wallace deepen the case against Diddy. In TMZ Presents, the downfall of Diddy, Wallace claims she witnessed minors being abused at a 2018 party hosted by Diddy. TMZ founder Harvey Levin has allegedly seen tapes supporting her claims.
Tanya Wallace, who claims she's been at a freak-off and said she saw children, and it was hard for her to say it.
It was very hard for her to say it, Ashley. So what she said was that she was flown out from LA to Miami by the Saudi prince. And they ended up eventually on Star Island at one of Diddy's parties. She says, among many other things, I mean, she goes into detail. This, she says, happened in 2018. She says that she walked into the house and there was a cluster of adults around what she described as little people. And they were dressed up as Japanese Barbies. I forgot the name. It's Harak something. You can help me out here. It's a certain type of Barbie. Anyway.
I know the name, but I've forgotten it. But go ahead.
So she explained that that they were just clustered around these little people. And I kept pushing her. And she eventually said, look, they are little people who should not be at an adult party. And I pushed her, and it was apparent what she was saying is they were minors. Now, she didn't see anything specific that was going on with them other than that adults were kind of huddled around them. But she told just a wild story about what was going on at the house, even at 7 in the morning, that this thing apparently raged all night long.
It's amazing. TMZ always gets such great scoops, and this one might be one of your best as well. You got a hold of one of the freak-off tapes. Your producers have seen it. The description is, and I'll quote, "It's porn directed by Diddy himself." And a male sex worker really sort of walks through what happened in the experiences that he had. They didn't sound illegal, but they sure seem to comport with a lot of the other stories that have been told.
Yeah. So this was a threesome. What you would ask me about earlier about Tanya Wallace, she said there were more than 100 people at that party, including at least 4 celebrities. But this, what you're talking about now, was a threesome, and that's something that the U.S. attorney even referenced. And his lawyer in an earlier documentary we did, he was describing threesomes. He says it was all consensual. So yes, what we're told is that this male sex worker was flown out to various locations over a couple of years: Miami, New York, Los Angeles, and one other. And they would meet in hotel rooms, and Diddy would often watch as he would have sex with this woman who was associated with Diddy. So that seems to be what the feds are looking at right now in terms of alleged sex trafficking, if they are transporting somebody and perhaps paying them to cross state lines, that could end up being part of sex trafficking. We know that this guy got a subpoena and he ended up not testifying before the grand jury, but talking to prosecutors. And we're told that he left that tape.
From damning call records to alleged tapes now in the FBI's hands, Diddy's efforts to regain control are unraveling. With mounting witness testimonies and shocking details surfacing daily, his dark secrets seem destined to emerge. What's next for Diddy? Can he turn the tide, or is this the end of the road?